Welcome. It is not every kind of CV you can submit for a person seeking a graduate research assistantship or a graduate teaching assistantship position in US universities. Now, in the course of applying for your master's or PhD in the US, you'll be required to submit an academic CV. For most decisions on admission, the academic CV is often the most pivotal document. It is a deciding document to whether you'll be offered admission or not. And remember that the admission committee have not seen you anywhere before, but they have your CV. Your CV should be able to market your potentials, your ability, in so much that you become an irresistible candidate. Now, if your CV is going to do that, now it's going to also propel them to give you funding in the form of GRA or GTA. There are certain things, certain ingredients, certain components your CV, your academic CV must contain. What are these components? In this video, I will be showing you the several important parts your academic CV should contain if you intend to win funding via a graduate research assistantship or a graduate teaching assistantship in the US. One, have personal information where you state your name and your latest degree and what you're seeking. 2, you should have education data. 3, you should have research interest. 4, you should have your research experience. 5, you should have teaching experience. 6, you should have scholarship and publication. 7, you should have applicable skills. 8, you should have volunteering / community service. 9, you should have references. Now let's dive into discussing each part of this CV that can fetch a GRA or a GTA position. First, your personal information. What constitutes personal information on an academic CV? 1, your name. 2, your latest qualification. 3, your research interest, just one of them, what position you are interested or looking out for, and applicable skills that can guarantee you that position or that it's applicable to that particular position you're interested or looking out for. Now next, you should have your address, then your mobile, then your LinkedIn and your Google Scholar ID should you have one. You could see an example here. Now it has name, and this particular candidate has a BSc in physics. This candidate is looking out for, it has he or she has a research interest in computational physics. That's an interest in computational physics. Is interested in looking out for a graduate assistantship position. He has ability with research data, so he writes that he is a research data analyst. His address doesn't need to be the street and town or city address, just Nigeria or the city and Nigeria is okay. Your mobile, your LinkedIn link, and should you have publications on Google Scholar, you could put down your Google Scholar ID. This is how you put together a beautiful information page on your CV. Remember that your CV does not have to carry CV. It carries your name. Your name opens the CV and is your first name, not your surname. It opens with your first name, not your surname. In exact this order, it gives a very beautiful impression. Now remember, this is the first item on your CV. It should be as beautiful and as educative and informing as possible. If you use this format, I used here. The name is very bold. In fact, it's the bolded thing on the CV paper, followed by your latest degree, then what position you're seeking out for, your research interest, and the skills you have. That is the picture of the nature of the information page on your CV. The next item on your the about data. The about data page. The about data page, or sorry, the education page, not the about data page, please. The education page has a style too that you must adhere to. One, it has the title of your degree, followed by the name of the course, followed by the month and year it was awarded to you. Below it is the name of the university. Below it is your CGPA. Below it would be your thesis title and the name of your supervisor. Now you could see an example down here. This person who owns this particular CV we're using for sample is a BSc graduate of physics, title of degree, course of study, awarded in May 2018. He went to the University of Ntwenibok, Abak, Nigeria. His CGPA is 3.5 on a scale of 5.0. His thesis is theoretical analysis of the fluid handling strength of the stomach. Supervisor was Dr. Ntwenibok. That is how you put out the education part of your CV. Now, if you already have an MSc, the MSc would come before the BSc. It is the latest degree you put up first. Please understand that the academic CV does not have a space for your high school or primary school certificates or awards. It is only your tertiary institution, your HND if you're an HND graduate, your BSc, your MSc. You don't include your WAEC result and first school living certificate on an academic CV. Number third item on your academic CV should be your research interest. The research interest should be 4 or 5 subdivisions of your course of study that interests you, that you intend to pursue, that you wish to pursue at the postgraduate level. Your research interest could also be an interdisciplinary field that intersects with your course of study. Example, material sciences is an interdisciplinary field of both physics and chemistry. That means that graduates of physics, chemistry, mathematics, even engineering can have material sciences as their research interest. Another example of an interdisciplinary research interest is public health. In fact, almost any graduate of science and social sciences can study or can have public health as a research interest. For example, a graduate of economics can have health economics as is or her research interest, because public health is an interdisciplinary field. And so if your research interest is an interdisciplinary field, you can also put it out. And another example is policy studies. Policy study is an interdisciplinary interest for law, political sciences, social sciences, business admin, public admin, and almost all the humanities. And here is an example of how you put out your research interests. One, for say a graduate of physics, he has computational fluid dynamics, he has theoretical physics, he has statistical thermal dynamics, he has novel material design. All of these are branches of physics, and it's ideal, and they are somewhat interconnected, and a beautiful part for a graduate of physics. Another example I have here is that of a graduate of English language. For a graduate of English language, your research interest could be creative writing and composition. It could be Latino negritude literature. It could be modern traditions in African writing. It could be writing for social media. It could be political writing and journalism. These are all several parts of English language that could become a research interest for a graduate of English or linguistics or the languages. Now, if you understand this, now note that your research interest should have at least 4 to 5 subdivisions of whatever you intend to pursue in your PG studies. That is the third part of your academic CV. The fourth part of your academic CV, the research interest or the research experience. Now understand that for those of us in Africa, we all have research experiences. Our research experiences are part of the things we do for our final year project. publications and scholarship. And this is very important if you're looking out for a GRA position. Your publication should begin from your dissertation. It could begin from your BSc dissertation or your BSc thesis, your MSc work, but you must take care to write that this is an unpublished work submitted to your department. For example, for this student, Chukwumasi, 2011, this is how you narrate that CV. This is the year you finish the project work. This is the topic of the project work, and mention that it is a BSc project submitted in the Department of Microbiology, University of Wisconsin, and all of that. The year, your name, the year you submitted the project, the name of the project, the title of the project, and the narration. Now, if it has been published in a journal, your next publication and scholarship part would be scholarship publication. You write it out the way that paper is cited on Google Scholar or on ResearchGate or on any of the journal you wrote it. This is how this paper should have been cited if I was using it. So the way the paper would have been cited, or the way the paper is cited in its citation, is how you would put down on your publication head. Now, part of your scholarship and publications could involve manuals you have developed, textbooks you have written, workshop materials you have written, even handouts could pass as some of your publication. Again, in your scholarship and publication, workshop, conferences, webinars, symposia are also a very important part of it. You should have a space in your CV where you record this part down. This is the picture of what the publication and scholarship part of your CV should look at. And once again, it opens with your unpublished BS and MS work. The next would be your published works in peer-reviewed journals and articles you've submitted in Q1, Q2, Q3, or any kind of journal you submitted it to. Then it will followed with your workshop attendance, seminar presentation, poster presentation. You need to put all of that and the date they were all done. The next item on the CV would be applicable skills. Now, for most people and their CV, they don't know how to write the applicable skill. The applicable skills is another point the admission committee looks at. It's not just you just write ability with. You must be able to classify the applicable skills you have. Now look at the correction or the example I have here and see how the students effectively communicate his applicable skills. One, he breaks the applicable skills into categories. He has the first category, chemical analysis skill. In this skill, he mentions some of the very rare apparatus he can use and some of the very rare things he can do in chemistry. He can do polymerized chain reaction using a Premier design. He can do electrophoresis. He can do microscopy and centrifugation using a microscope and a centrifuge. That first part of your applicable skills lists the some of the abilities you have in the discipline you studied. This is for a student of chemistry. For a student of English, there are some skills that distinguishes you as a student of English. This is where you list it out. The next part is computational and statistical skills. Please understand that graduate studies is about research, and so having a skills in softwares that can handle research data is a tangible skill, it's a beautiful skill, is a sought after skill. And so you do well to list out some of the skills, such as your ability to use MS Excel, your ability to use Python, your ability to do basic programming, your ability to use pandas, to use matplot, to use ChemDraw, ChemSketch, and all of that. Then don't forget to mention your research and publication skills. tell them that you know how to reference documents in APA and MPA and advert style. Also, you can use MS Word, Google Doc, and all the different writing parts and tools available online and on the internet. You can also need to put other skills, which would include your language skills, your decision-making skill, your interpersonal relationship skill, and some soft skills. The other skills are your soft skills. Now, this is what constitutes the applicable skills part of your CV. The next part of your CV is experiences, where you list the community services, the humanity services you've performed. If you're a Rotary Club member, you could list all the things you've done in Rotary Club or the JCI. The COVID-19 education campaign you did, all the things you do online. If you're like me, where you share scholarship positions online, it constitutes community service. What you do in your church, in your mosque, in your shrine also constitute community service. So you do well to list out your community service and volunteering experiences. The last part of your CV is the references. I'll spend some time to explain the references. In my next video, I will tell you who qualifies to be your reference, who qualifies to be added to your references. Not everybody that qualifies to be added to your reference, because this reference may be the one the university will send out reference letter to, or reference request for them to reference your ability as a student, as a researcher, or as somebody who can use one skill or the other. Now, first, you write the name of the reference. 2, you write his position, what group is he working, what university is he working, and his email, his official email, and the relationship. You must put that very importantly, the relationship with you. Here, for the first person here, it was his undergraduate advisor. The name, the person's position, the unit or lab he is working, the name of the university, and the email. For the second person here, the name, the his position, where he's working, the university, his official email, relationship. The relationship part is very important. You list 2 or 3 of these referees or references to make your references part of the final notes on writing a CV. For most persons, we are confused with whether it should be 1 page, 2-pager, or a 3-pager document. And there's no hard and fast rule, but for a BS student, your CV should be about 2 pages. For an MS student with publication, you could do 3 pages, but also learn to format your CV properly. Formatting is very important. Formatting is very important. Make it very attractive without using colors. Please note that we do not use colors in an academic CV. Without using colors, format them very properly. Make sure that at one glance, anybody looking at it can pick out the important information. In narrating your CV, please use past action verbs. Very important. Use past action verb. Then use official font. Use official font. Times New Roman, Constania, Calibri. These are very important and official fonts. Make sure that these are the fonts you always would use on your CV. Finally, do not send your CV out as a Word document. Whenever you're sending your CV, send it as a PDF document. When you're done writing and formatting your CV, convert it to a PDF document. Always send out your CV as a PDF document. If you follow all of this, this is the nature of the kind of CV that gets you a GRA or a GTA position. Leave your comments, leave your questions down in the comments. I will be responding to it. You could send me a personal email and I could send to you the samples of emails that can get you GTA, GRA position. Thank you for listening.